Welcome. Thanks for joining me today. So I thought I'd open up our topic of self-care by introducing you to a couple of my plant friends. Here we have a happy azalea and his less happy friend. Same type of plant, but they look a little different, don't they? These plants remind me of people. Here we have a plant that is growing, blooming, showing its colors, opening up to the world. And here we have a plant that's drying and wilted. Have you ever known a person that seems to be living like this plant looks? Going through his or her life every day a bit wilted? Have you ever felt like this plant? It's okay, most of us have at one point or another. But what if it's not about who we are? What if the way that your life looks and feels right now is not a reflection of you, but a byproduct of your approach to taking care of yourself? Now, with plants, it's pretty simple. Usually plants require some combination of sunlight, water, soil, room to grow. They have these care instructions, and usually if we follow the directions, the plants are in pretty good shape. But what about as humans? Our formula for staying healthy may be a bit more involved, but I would argue that it's equally predictable. We have some basic types of care that we need. When we get those things, we tend to flourish. We feel good. We have greater immunity to illness and disease. Our moods are better. We have more energy. We remember things more easily. We think more creatively. These forms of self-care truly protect us from the bad stuff. And that's why in the mental health world, we call them protective factors. Now let's review what these protective factors are. Sleep. It's important to give yourself at least 7 hours of sleep each night to help your body and mind restore themselves. Physical activity. This could be any movement, stretching, or cardiovascular activity, which not only helps maintain muscle mass and healthy heart functioning, but also balances our brain chemistry. Social connection and intimacy. Feeling close to others through meaningful personal contact. Relaxation. Soothing activities which calm the mind and balance the effects that stress has on the body. Nutrition and hydration. Fueling ourselves with nutrients to energize our bodies and drinking enough water to keep us cleansed and hydrated. Positive thinking. Having daily perspective that helps us to be goal-oriented while also coping with stressful events and situations. Of course, there are more, but those are some of the biggies. I'm guessing you've already heard a lot about why these things are so important. When you've experienced them, you probably feel better. Oftentimes, we find ourselves resolving to be more consistent with these practices, but then stuff just gets in the way. So that's what I want to talk about today. What are some of the things that get in our way of taking care of ourselves so that we can be feeling and performing our personal best every day? And more importantly, what can we do to overcome those barriers to self-care? But before we begin, take another look at our list of protective factors. Which of these things do you struggle to be consistent with? Let's call those your focus areas. I recommend writing them down so that you can create a plan for progress as we go. Let's check out some common barriers to self-care. Self-care barrier number 1, we get distracted and busy. Maintaining a healthy lifestyle requires a daily commitment to doing the things that nurture us, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. But sometimes that daily commitment can be difficult to stick with.
I think our society really rewards accomplishments and goals and outcomes and meeting like benchmarkers for whatever your industry is, and it's about an output, right? And so I think that can create a lot of pressure for people to feel like they can't take that step back and give themselves rest and nourishment.
So what are some of the things that we can incorporate to help us maintain our commitment to regular self-care? Structure. Decisions to do new things require lots of reinforcement. Our behavioral habits exist in the brain as neural pathways. When we choose to do new things, the old pathways remain active, but the new behaviors create new pathways. Those new pathways need a lot of repaving. Repetition helps those new behaviors to become more automatic.
Discipline. And I try to tell the kids that too. It's easy under lockdown conditions to just lay around and not, you know, whatever. But I tell the kids Monday through Friday, I'm up at 5 a.m., having my coffee, working out by 6:15, good hour workout. Everything is done disciplined. The grading, whatever I'm doing. Weekends, sure I get out, spend time with my wife, son, work on finding new things. Like I said before, playing a little bit of guitar, finding out how bad I am at playing guitar, but also realizing that I'm trying something.
Have motivational reminders. Maybe you can create some Post-its to put on your bathroom mirror, or create a vision board, put it somewhere visible. Maybe write a letter to yourself, reminding yourself of why these habits are important. Or use a journal or app for your phone to track your progress. Accountability. Who can you share your progress with? Who will celebrate your progress and be bold enough to nudge you or challenge you if you start to slack off? Is there anyone who may join you in your journey so that you feel a little less alone?
Through the pandemic, we've been doing a lot of workout videos in class. So that's been helping me stay in shape and stay on it. Now that we're not able to go to a gym, you need that extra kind of like a buddy or someone to keep you going. So I've used my class to keep me going, and we exercise. We do it now every day that I see them. We do some type of exercise, so that helps. Also, it helps to have like a mental health. So one of my buddies made a miniature golf course in his backyard. So every now and then he'll call me up. We go up there, and he has like a master's green in his backyard on his patio, and so we've been playing golf every now and then, socially distanced in the backyard to help with the mental aspect.
Start small. It's important to avoid all or nothing thinking. If you want to get in better shape, maybe you don't need to train for a marathon. Maybe you just need a lunchtime walking buddy, or a yoga video to start your day. Maybe some physical chores on the weekend. Reflection question. Recall your focus areas. How can these tools increase your commitment to your focus area? Self-care barrier number 2. We revert back to our dysfunctional comfort zones. Do you ever feel sick and tired of things being a certain way and decide, I need to make a change? I want more balance, or more peace, more free time. I want to eat better, or save money, make new friends, become healthier, whatever it may be. Maybe you decide to embark on some new behaviors or initiate some new form of self-care, but then you find yourself retreating back to the old behaviors.
So I have 3 kids, and one is a baby at this time, and this is before COVID, but my mother-in-law had flown in, and she gave us a night off. So she watched all the kids, and then my husband and I got a hotel room, and we were gonna do room service and go out to dinner. And I was packing my bags, and I put all these things in my bag, like a book, a journal, it was Christmas time, so I was got the Christmas cards to write in. And I was filling up the suitcase, and then my husband walked in while I was packing, and he's like, should I come too on the trip, or should I just stay here? So it was even though we had this amazing time, because being parents, you don't really get that much time alone, you're just with your kids or working. I was filling it up a lot instead of having some nice moments, spending time with my husband and doing things to enjoy. I had a to-do list of oh, great time to finish those Christmas cards. So it was a good and funny reminder for me to no, we're not gonna, have any tasks. We're just gonna enjoy and maybe sleep and relax and things.
While we may desire life improvement, We may also have a difficult time tolerating positive change. Every person has a different version of what feels normal, what feels natural. Oftentimes, we feel at home with our struggles, not because we like struggling, but because it's what we're used to. It's what we know. Maybe it's what we felt in our environments growing up. Maybe we stretch ourselves to please other people, or we shrink back to avoid judgment or failure. Our ruts can often become a comfort zone. When we take steps to actually care for ourselves, to become healthier, and to feel better, sometimes that can become uncomfortable. Like, this is not me. I'm not the one with the peaceful home, the calm relationship, the clean car, extra money in my savings. This feels just too good, too selfish, too easy, boring. When things get good, I feel like I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. Hello, shoe. Are you there? Oh, that's better. Sort of. Is this you? If it is, you're not alone. But you should know that this will limit you. Clinging to unhealthy comfort zones will keep you stuck and upset about being stuck, always feeling like there's one more thing to get in your way. The reality is that you may be sabotaging your own progress because you're just not prepared to manage the positive change. Positive change is an adjustment, and it can make us feel vulnerable and uneasy. So here are a few suggestions for managing this kind of change. Get honest with yourself about the habits that are keeping you stuck. What are the things that you tend to do or let in that cause you to wilt? Consider even writing a letter to yourself so that you can remind yourself of what you're needing to change and why. Next is time for visualization. Picture the life that you want. Imagine the way that you want to feel. Try this on for size. Finish the sentence. The lifestyle that would feel healthy for me would look like, fill in the blank, and be specific. Finally, it's time to get clear about your why. Why this change? Why now? What will happen if you don't change your patterns? And why you? Why are you worth this change?
So we need to just make sure that we are okay so that we can be able to help others. Because if we're not, we can't help. Because if my grandbaby sees me sick, upset, angry, how am I supposed to love him and show him that I do? I can't, because he's going to feel my anger. He's going to feel how sad I am. So I have to be in a positive mode in order for me to be able to help the folks around me.
I'd like to leave you with the ABCs of adjusting to positive changes. A stands for adjusting takes time. So know that going into it. Be patient. This is a process. B stands for boundaries. It'll be important to hold your boundaries and expect this to be uncomfortable. C is for consistency. It's important to keep going even when you don't feel like it, even when you forget why, just keep going.
Yeah, we all tend to, keep our calendars full. And I think we have to give ourselves permission to say no. We have to give ourselves permission to say, I'm just not going to be able to take that on. Because that's when we do become overstressed, right? We have so much on our calendar. We have so many commitments that we've committed to. You don't want to not fulfill your commitments. So you tend to just keep going. It's like that treadmill, right? You keep on that treadmill, constant going. But you have to give yourself that permission to stop and pause when you need to pause. And I think that's a struggle for everyone.
Reflection questions. What form of self-care seems important but difficult to maintain? How could you prepare yourself for the benefits that this self-care will bring, knowing that these benefits will feel unfamiliar? Self-care barrier number 3. The going gets tough. Maybe you feel run down. Maybe you're already wilting. Maybe you truly have too much on your plate, but at the moment, it doesn't feel like anything can be taken off. Sometimes self-care means slowing down, listening to your intuition, and watering the parts of you that are thirsty. What does this look like?
My job is very demanding, and I'm also bilingual. I do different bilingual and sign language. And so a lot of times they use me for all these different avenues and outlets. So by the time I come home, I'm like tired, frustrated that I didn't get a lunch or a break or something like that. And then I come back and I think about it. Why did I let that block me from taking my lunch? Or why did I let that block me from even taking a pee break or something to that effect? So I simply come back the next day and I'd be like, you know what? I can't be overwhelmed today. So I am not, and I repeat, I am not going to let the job be like my whole world, because it's not. I still got a home that I need to think about, and I need to think about me and my family. Because when I'm tired, I'm frustrated, I come home and I don't do the things I want to do, cook a nice dinner, have a conversation with my family. So I try my hardest for those things not to happen before my days out at work.
Consider that self-care is not about giving up on the tough stuff, but about taking care of yourself so that you have the stamina to continue managing difficult things without becoming completely drained or burnt out. If life has felt tough for you and you feel that you're starting to wilt, give yourself CPR. The C stands for compassion. Ask yourself, what do I really need right now? P is for practice simplification. Be realistic about your situation and your resources. Is there something that needs to be taken off of your plate, and how would that look? Finally, R stands for rest. Take a break. This life is a journey, and you may need to take a detour, but you can always get back on your healthy path when you're ready.
There was a period of time, probably around early October, where I was getting a little cabin fever. And even though I get out every day and I bike and I exercise and I try to do walks, but for about 3 or 4 days, I was kind of forcing myself to do anything. I stopped working out. I was probably eating a lot of cookies and all that, just ice cream, and it kind of backtracked. And then I kind of looked in the mirror. I said, hey, you got to do this stuff. You sit there and you kind of preach it to the kids. You got to be strong. You got to do all this. So since then, I've been okay.
Reflection questions. When is the last time that you have felt overwhelmed and unmotivated? What would it look like to give yourself CPR in that situation? The miracle of your existence calls for celebration every day. How do we celebrate our existence? By taking care of ourselves. Our self-care is the way that we celebrate being alive. Sometimes it may actually look like a celebration.
So music have always been my way to calm down, get on the treadmill or get on the bicycle, or just put on music that will make me move and dance. Like I have Calypso Caribbean in my body, so I will put on some kind of music like that. And if I don't have my music when I'm like that, it can be miserable, because that's how I take my calmness to the fullest.
Take that time for yourself. Do the things that bring you joy, the things that bring you happiness, because life flies by in a flash, and you can't get that time back. Do the things that bring you joy and make yourself happy, and it's okay. It's the right thing to do for yourself, right?
Other times, it's keeping up with the routine daily habits that keep us healthy and well-maintained.
Like I said, it definitely helps to take breaks and get up and move around. We've been, when it's nice, been going outside and getting the fresh air also helps. Taking our dogs on walks, We've also, so my school started doing like, we used to do a Friday, like a get together at school. Well, now they're doing a Friday Zoom meetings so teachers can have the social part and still get together with other people, but it's on Zoom, so it's a little different.
The care instructions for humans, also known as protective factors, are pretty well known. You probably know right now what you need more of. Is it sleep, vegetables, time off, laughter, a workout plan, a date night? The key is actually showing up for yourself to make sure you're getting what you need. There will be barriers, so be prepared for that and clear about the fact that you're worthy of care and attention, as worthy as anyone else on this planet is. Your life is as miraculous as anyone else's and deserves that level of care and celebration.
One of the biggest life lessons is that you only have one body. Like this is it, you know, like, and when I was younger, I think, well, I think I'm not alone in this, but when people are younger, I think we tend to like think like, oh, well, nothing's gonna happen to us. You know, the whole invincible feelings that like, I could do whatever, you know, I can not sleep or like eat a bunch of junk food. Nothing's ever gonna happen to me. And I think as you're getting older and like growing, you realize like, wow, I really need to take care of my physical self. And that goes for like mental health and your spiritual health even. You know, you're really wanting to cultivate something that will be lasting and sustainable and healthy for the long term. So when you're making choices, it's almost like an investment in your future self.
Thank you for spending your time with me today. If you have feedback about this video or suggestions for other wellness topics, feel free to email me at katie@wellnesstalktoday.com. Thanks and see you next time.